So what we have here is the Livescribe Echo. So this is essentially a smart pen. This special paper tells you, the pen, where you're touching on the screen. So if you've recorded, you can, for example, you can record voices, audio, and where you take notes, it will replay that audio. So for example, I wrote, "I like corn and apples." I can hit here, and it'll say apples.
You talk to yourself while you're writing?
I do talk to myself when I'm writing.
Okay, but it's, if you were doing an interview and you're taking notes in a classroom, it would record
or
the
you
voice.
or you could do these things called pencast, where you annotate yourself solving a problem, for example, like a calculus problem.
Pencasts.
Pencasts.
I like that. It's not like a podcast, it's a pencast.
So what came next, this pen is about a year old. This is the Echo. This is an 8 gigabyte pen. What came next are these little apps. So you basically have a little piano that you can play on the paper. You can change, you can add some rhythm, which is really fun. Then you have all the controls here. The latest feature that they've just added is a social networking feature called Livescribe Connect. So for example, you would write out a command. You would say, send to Facebook, send to Twitter, send to email. You would select what you wanted to send, and you would press the paper, and it would send out that document to Google Docs or wherever else. You can see the demo back here.
So you've already connected the pen to whatever account, your Gmail account or your Facebook account, and then when you write out the command, it knows to send that to you. So essentially you could draw a picture and then send that as an email, but it's like a JPEG or something?
Sure, I mean, or a PDF. The only caveat is that it has to be synced with the computer. So that's the only issue that I have with the pen as it stands right now.
It's not over Wi-Fi?
It's not over Wi-Fi. This isn't Wi-Fi capable
It's a Bluetooth?
Yet. No, it's just a USB cable.
So it actually has to be connected to your computer by a cable.
Now, I guess the main question
That's kind of
weak. The main question is, would you ever do that? Would you say to yourself, I want to draw a picture of a dog, draw a circle around it, and send it via email?
I would do it if it was wireless. But if I have to connect it to my computer, I think there are other ways. That, there are tablets, there are drawing tablets, that work probably better than that. I don't know what, if I'm already using this for another purpose, it's a nice extra feature. I think it has to be wireless for it to really, it's anytime you have to hook something up, you don't use it, or I don't use it as much. So that feature isn't a selling point to me. I do like the, I like the fact that you can take notes. I mean, as a reporter, not that I type notes now, but there was a time when I was a lad and I used to take notes in a notebook, and to be able to go back, and my handwriting is pretty bad, so to be able to actually go back and touch the point when I wrote something, if I can't see it, or just to hear what they said to make sure I got the quote right. I mean, that's a pretty, for reporters,
very valuable.
Yeah, it could be great.
So generally, you're talking fly or die on the general idea and then the Connect feature.
I wouldn't buy this. I could see the appeal to people. I'm going to give it a die. I think, it kind of reminds me of like a souped up QCat. Remember the QCat pen? The
QCat was very, very impressive. It's a piece of technology.
Well, that was just a scanner. I mean, it was nothing. But it's this whole idea. I mean, I love the ambition of this, that, it's trying to take something paper and make it digital. And I think there's a lot of promise there, but it's trying to force something that's round into a square hole.
I'm giving it a fly. I think the idea is cool. As you say, if this were Wi-Fi enabled or Bluetooth enabled, that would be amazing. That would be much better than the way you have to do it now. I use this extensively in a lot of reporting, and I really got a kick out of it. It's an interesting way. What they really need to do is move it over to tablets and do something, move away from the paper. I think the paper is the hobble here. But I'm still giving it a fly in general.
Oh, hello.
Oh, there.
Who do we have here?
Hi, I'm Jim Margraf, CEO and founder of Livescribe. How are you?
Hi, how are you? Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
So I gave him the full demo. Why don't we talk very briefly about the new features? I think his primary problem was you had to tether it eventually to get the new features to work. And why is that? And what's coming up to fix that, I guess?
Sure. Yeah, I think what's important is you gave the demo, John. That the Smart Pen allows you to write and record what you hear when you're writing, so you can touch it, play it back. What's important that wasn't perhaps obvious is that it does that, and the connect feature that we have that now lets you send this as an email or to Facebook or Evernote or Google Docs or other, you can capture your notes in a meeting or in a class, and then you can just specify on paper an email address or recipient. You write it, you touch the pages, and they'll be sent. They'll be sent when you dock your pen, but it doesn't have to be connected. So it's with you all the time. If you're in a class, it doesn't happen in real time. But if you're in a meeting, as soon as you get back and you plug it in, it takes they're queued and it gets sent. So if it's real-time need, if you want to tweet, you might want that in real time. But as long as you know, you just dock it. So you've committed to send to your associates in your study group. You say, yeah, I'll send you my notes. And then you get back to your class, you just plug your pen in and automatically is sent.
How hard would it be to make that wireless through Bluetooth or Wi-Fi?
It's standby. I can't comment beyond it, aside from saying right now, one of the things we did do was we lowered the price of this to $99.
Okay.
So you have a tool that'll support 200 hours of recorded audio. And the big feature that we've announced that you've seen that's out there now is the ability, again, to just take your notes and literally you'll write a name of a person, you'll touch the pages, and what they'll get, if you want to see this, I just drew up a short description of this, and I'll pull it up on the screen right now. We'll see if this works. This should be good. I'll select a window. Okay, right there. This is, can you see that? This is a pencast. And what I did is I drew this out. And by the way, this is viewable in Reader. So what it means is the notes that you've taken in your class, if I wrote right now John on my paper and I dock my pen, John, in a few seconds you'd have this. You could see it, or Eric, you'd have it on your PC. You could play it like this. Watch what happens. This is in Reader. So this is a PDF. And if I play it, so I click on it here, wherever I click.
Right.
And I was in a big lecture hall as well when I was speaking. That's why I hear the echo.
So I guess the question here is,
could you make that like a video? So this is all Flash, right?
This is PDF. This is
PDF.
a Reader.
Okay. Yep.
So I guess the question is, why the dependence on paper? What's next for Livescribe, and is the dependence on paper a problem? Is it something that's hindering the company, or is it something that adds value, for example, to students to just note taking?
Yeah, sure. If you look at the world today, most people, when they're communicating, and if you look at students in a classroom, and because we've done studies on this as well, they're taking notes in notebooks. If you're in a science class or a math class, you can't type. You have to take notes in a notepad. If you're an interviewer and you're taking notes, you want to be doing it so you can look at the person. If you're communicating with a patient as a doctor, you want to be able to capture it. If you're writing down sketches as an architect or a consultant, so paper provides a lot of value. We don't yet have tablets that are writable in a general way. As that happens, our software and our capabilities will support that as well. Right now, though, we're in a world where paper notebooks are very, very powerful. Incidentally, the paper with the controls on it, as you've seen, you have audio playback controls. You can print this paper at no charge on a home laser printer. So you just print it out for free. You can print your own color or your own pages that you can use.
Right. Well, I guess I've given up the pen for a long time, and I've been a journalist for a long time. I have boxes of notepads, where that I've taken notes for years and years. And actually, I would have loved to have this 10 years ago, right? Because then I could go back to all my notes and digitize them. But at this point, I've kind of moved on to the laptop. I take all my notes on the laptop, and I capture it digitally already. And I think, I don't think I'm alone in that, and that I moved to, I've moved away from the pen. Obviously, there are still places where pen makes sense. I think for drawings and for, a lot of people just love the pen. So I think that there's an appeal here for this, and just the idea of being able to record, the notes while you're interviewing someone. I think that's terrific, right? I mean, you can even just keep it in your bag, and your laptop battery's dead. You always have paper, right, as a backup, and to have this, it's always digital. But to me, it seems like there is this movement away from the pen, and the bigger question in my mind is this sort of a temporary transitional technology, right? Or does it sort of reinvigorate paper again?
Yeah, I think first of all, our business is focused on enhancing the capture, the access, and the sharing of written and spoken information. So that's our core business. The tool we have right now works with paper And it's unique. We're bridging two worlds that haven't been bridged before. It's the paper and the digital world. So we're allowing you to take advantage of being able to capture this on a notepad, on a scrap pad, on a small pad, on a journalist pad, whatever it might be, and move that from the digital world from the paper world to the digital world, where then you can search it, you can share it, you can archive it. So the degree to which you would say, gee, we're not in a paper world. If we were not in a paper world, and I today brought out a piece of paper and showed you the affordances that paper offered, it would be magical. So there's something
That's
valuable
true.
in paper. But what I think right now is, if we did a poll recently with Forrester, and we surveyed people in the office and asked them what they'd like to be able to do more with their note taking. First of all, majority of people take notes on paper. It's vast majority. And secondly, 2/3 of the people wanted to do more than just be able to capture their notes on paper and leave it there. What they wanted was to be able to move it into the digital world, to be able to search it, to share it with people, to transcribe it, to transcribe the writing.
Sure.
So it's the services we offer around that. And what we found as well is the impact this has had. Students that use this, and by the way, just go into a classroom in K-12 or go into a classroom in college and look around, and you'll find generally what's happening also in the classes are, in Berkeley, for instance, MBA classes, the students are banned from bringing their PCs to the classroom.
Why?
Because it's disruptive to the other students, and because they don't pay attention to the teacher, because they're online and they're surfing and they're doing emails.
That's
so
backwards.
it's actually, and this is happening around the country, because I was in an event just a few days ago, had a large number of people there, and the majority of people were on email and they were typing. And the speakers that were talking were having a really hard time because there was no connection. And TED, at this point, you may know, is actually if I've both spoken at TED and been in the audience at TED. And TED has now disallowed people from bringing laptops or smartphones into TED.
Well, I think that's increasingly going to be the exception, not the rule. You know, that's you're sort of fighting the inevitability of people always being connected.
I'm going to let you borrow the pen. He's going to try the
Yeah.
pen, and he'll get back to you. Thank you for popping on.
Thank you
We
very much for
appreciate it.
joining
thanks,
us.
John. Thanks, Eric. Okay, take care.
Okay. All right. So I like what they're doing. I like the fact that they're trying to digitize paper in a new way.